morning. We're camped out the back of Oberon this morning. Hope I'm not too quiet. I'm trying not to wake anyone up. It's about 20 minutes before sunrise. I don't know if you can see, that's our camp in the background down there. And we're camped by this beautiful little river, which is down there. So I've come for a walk. There's past the rapids up to this sort of stiller section of the river, mostly so I can talk to you without waking people at camp. I was hoping we'd get a little bit of colour in the sky this morning. We had a bit of rain last night and there's snow forecast up in some of the higher altitude areas. We did get a bit wet, but not in my swag, but got a bit of rain, and I was hoping we'd get a bit of colour from whatever cloud was still hanging around, but it's looking pretty clear, unfortunately. But still a very pretty spot to just wander up and down the banks of the river. There is an old bridge about 200 yards behind me, which I might head down to and maybe make a subject of a few photos. But for now it's nice just to be out early morning walking along. I've just spotted a composition that I don't mind. It's this little tuft of grass down there leading up to this tree hanging out over the river there with all the lichen and moss on it, and a nice reflection with that big gum in the background. So I'm gonna try and grab a couple of images of that and see how that comes out, and then I'll probably head down to that bridge I was talking about earlier. So I'm just shooting a quick focus stack, first on the grass, then on the tree, then on the background tree, because I'm only about sort of, I don't know, 700-800 mil away from this tuft of grass, so I'm probably a little bit close to get it all in one shot. So I'll do a quick focus stack. We're not getting really any colour in the sky, unfortunately, but still a very calm and peaceful morning. Oh, Eddie, move. I don't know if you saw that. My worst assistant in the world getting in the way again. So I'm going to have no doubt a shadow of a dog in that image. There's a really beautiful little cascade behind me just here. But unfortunately, the other side of the river is very, very messy. Lots of weeds and dead stuff, and I don't think it's going to make a very nice shot. I could try and exclude that far side of the river and only include this side of the river, but I don't think it's going to be worth a shot, so I'm going to carry on down to that little bridge. So this is last night's camp by the river. This is me just here, the old single swag. This is the river. This is what I got to listen to all night last night. So in the background there is the bridge I was talking about. Now the river's looking really healthy, flowing really well. I've been here a few times, maybe half a dozen times, and this is probably the best I've ever seen the river flowing. So that's good, considering we've been in drought for so long. But yeah, that's the bridge out there, and just behind me there is just some nice bits of granite boulder. It would make a nice little foreground. So I think that's how I'm going to compose my shot, using those two elements. Still no colour in the sky. I think it must be after sunset now, after sunrise, sorry. So you know, it's not going to be anything amazing, but just nice to be out, as I said. You probably noticed a lot of the time I've got a strap hanging off my camera. I do use the strap a lot, going for hikes. I just chuck the camera over the shoulder and that sort of thing. And normally you would advise take it off when you're doing landscape photography with slow shutter speeds on a tripod, because any wind movement can sway that strap and give you a camera shake, but it is deathly still here, so I'm not having to worry about that at the moment. But yeah, if it was windy, I would be taking that strap off for sure. I'm shooting down here at ISO 64 f11. I'm actually focus stacking because these rocks are only half a metre away from the front of the camera. So just two images, 2-inch focus stack, one on the rocks, one on the bridge. And I've got my shutter speed currently at 3.2 seconds, which is giving a nice smooth out effect on that water. But that will change as it gets brighter. I think we're probably almost done, to be honest. There's no colour appearing. It's not really any magical sunrise, but it's nice, lovely little spot. Again, I am still focus stacking, just two images on the rocks, on the bridge in the background. 2-second timer so I don't get camera shake, and just closing off my image by hanging my hand in front of the final image, or an extra image, not the final image. This is Eddie, my assistant. Probably the worst assistant in the world, but he's certainly loyal. Well, as I say that, he runs off. So I've changed composition again. Got the camera now basically in the edge of the river here. I didn't really like where I was. It was up a little bit too high and wasn't really giving the effect that there's a beautiful flowing river here. So I've jumped down lower, closer down to the river. I've still got some rocks in the foreground here, some nice bit of grass as well, which I'm going to have to focus that because that's only 30 centimeters from the front of the lens. And still got the bridge framed by those 2 trees. So I'm going to give this composition a go and see how it ends up. This one's actually a 3-image focus stack. So the plant right in front of me, the rocks, and then the bridge. So I'm just about to close that off right now. There we go. I think that'll probably do us for this morning. We're off snow chasing in a little while, so there's meant to be some snow flurries up above 1200 meters. We're at about 900 now, so we're going to go and try and find some altitude and find some snow. Woo! There's Skip. Here we go, coming into the snow. We're at about 1200 meters now. We're hoping to get up to about 1300. Not a thick covering, but snow nonetheless. It's down some fresh snow. This track is untouched. The boys in front are actually breaking the snow. How good. Look at that. Morning 2 of our trip. I'm trying to talk a little bit quietly because that's our camp there in the background. So don't want to wake the other guys. It's just before sunrise now. And there's a little bit of an orange glow on the horizon, but there's not going to be anything too interesting as far as the sunrise. But if you look behind me there, you see it's quite foggy. So what I'm hoping for is as the sun peeks over, we'll get some nice side light through the fog there. I just got to go and find an interesting tree or an interesting composition to have a good look at that. It's a little bit, well, it's a lot windy, which means that these sort of plants on the ground here are blowing around a lot, so using them as a foreground interest and slow shutter speed's not going to happen. So I'm looking for also some sort of dead tree, branch, log, whatever on the ground that might provide a nice bit of foreground interest, possibly leading up to a nice white gum or something like that. I might actually head up to the top of the hill, which is just up this way. Let's see if the fog's a bit more pronounced up there. I think I've found my subject. As you can see, the sun just starting to peek up behind me. I think I found my subject. It's this old growth gum that's all burnt out. And I'll show you in a second. there. So that's going to be my subject. Now I've just got to frame up the shot. We're getting some quite nice colours actually coming through the forest there. So I might put you down for a second, grab some images. Right, well I hope you can see what's happening behind me. This beautiful orange glow is just appearing through the... And then I've got my subject all framed up here. Got a little bit of log interest in the foreground here. Yeah, this is actually really nice. I'm shooting at 4 seconds right now, so there's going to be some tree movement up in the high in those trees, but I'm hoping at least across the ground here there won't be a whole lot. I'm trying to time my shots. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to jump up my aperture to about f16 to try and get a sun star as it peeks through the forest there. As you can see, just epic. I've just changed up my composition to a vertical so I can get more of that dead tree in the frame and get this log in the foreground easier, and hopefully get less movement from those other surrounding trees that I don't really want in the frame anyway. So I'm shooting at f16 now to try and get that sun star as it pokes through the trees. And I'm just going to straighten my camera quickly. It's on a bit of a lean. And I've got my focus point set right on the base of that tree. Still on a 4-second exposure, and there it goes. You can see that sun just starting to peek through now. You probably see the orange glow in this thing. But yeah, really beautiful. And if you look at my screen there, you'll see the sun star coming through. So aperture 16 or above to get that effect. 4-second exposure still, there's going to be some movement in here. So, there you go, there's the sun star. So what I'm going to try next is I'm going to bump up my ISO to around 400, and then I'm going to bring my shutter speed up to about 0.4 of a second, and hopefully if I get it right moment it will limit the movement in this foreground, and I might even be able to combine some shots. But yeah, that's looking beautiful now. There you go, the black cockatoos. How good has it been out? The whole side light into the fog idea is over because the fog has dissipated quicker than it arrived. I was very happy to find this dead tree as a subject and get some sun stars through the forest at least. And I hope you just saw some black cockatoos fly overhead. It is windy, but yeah, geez, it's a nice place just to be up early. I think that's probably going to be it though for this trip. I don't think we're going to get too much more out of this sunrise. So thanks for watching. Hit thumbs up, like if you like, enjoy the video, and subscribe if you want to see more. See ya.